Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sandy Frank's political podcast for a people's movement to fight against the corporate fascist state. I'm Sandy Frank, and in this episode, I want to talk about the Trump's Muslim ban, Trump's Islamophobic ban on certain Muslim countries. Uh, I know people are saying it's not a full Muslim ban because of you know Saudi Arabia and other quote unquote Muslim countries. Uh, uh, and people are also saying it's funny that Trump has banned the certain Muslim countries he doesn't have business dealings with and has kept open, has not banned countries he does have business interests with, such as, again, Saudi Arabia. Uh, and what I really want to say about the ban is not that I don't think it's Islamophobic, uh, because it is. It's extremely Islamophobic against Iranians and all the rest of them uh, on the ban list. It's that this is exactly what was happening under uh, Barack Obama for the last 8 years. Uh, I think Barack Obama had I think around 6 times he had issued a similar type of ban. I think in 2011 he banned people from Iraq for a period of time, and I think I've read that he's Barack Obama did the same exact thing Donald Trump is doing now. And yes, I think it's very Islamophobic. Please don't get me wrong. You know, banning banning one quote unquote Muslim country because of phony information about terrorism. Yes, that's a horrible thing to do. And of course, the United States treatment of Muslims after 9/11 and before 9/11 as well. The United States is an Islamophobic country, and it has always been that way. And we need to do something about it. But to say, yeah, not doing anything about it is to just watch MSNBC so they can tell you that this came out of nowhere and Trump is an evil monster when MSNBC's god, Barack Obama, is one of the biggest Islamophobes in the history of the world. Barack Obama is a warmongering criminal who is racist against people from the Middle East because he values the profits of the war industry over not bombing 8 countries for money. And Barack Obama and Donald Trump is the same exact way. I mean, obviously, Donald Trump has escalated in just in his first week. Donald Trump, that bastard, that warmongering, just as bad as Barack Obama, bastard, has bombed. Uh, he's up to 3 countries already. It's been a week. I think it was 3. I'm not sure if Yemen made 4, or if that's 3. But yes, and the what else did I read? The 16-year-old who was murdered under Barack Obama's reign. Donald Trump just killed his 8-year-old little sister in Yemen. Uh, I think it was yesterday or a few days ago. So, but the point of this entire video, the point why I'm making this video, is to completely clarify that Barack Obama and Donald Trump are the same exact thing. They are corporate puppets serving a corporate fascist state, and we need a people's movement to topple the corporate fascist state. And we need it now, and we need to organize now. So that's why I don't. I mean, I'm a Marxist. I am. Uh, I define myself as a Hegelian Marxist, as dialectical materialist, uh, as a communist, as so, but that I want people of all political beliefs to come together and come up with solution based ideas, not just for political activism, but for what we replace the corporate fascist state with. Uh, to but of course we need to topple Trump and the establishment regime. But that's exactly what this video is about. The Muslim ban is a perfect example of the corporate fascist media doing nothing but sheepdogging. They're not activating people for political action in any real way. I mean, I'm happy about the Women's March. I'm happy about Black Lives Matter marches. I'm happy about uh, protests at the airport trying to protect our Muslim brothers and sisters. I'm happy about those things. But we also need to be aware that these giant protests, the women's protest march, did not just poof come out of nowhere. It did not just materialize out of nothing. It was paid for by very rich and powerful people in the corporate fascist state, and they organized people in that way in a lot of what the Women's March was doing to distract people. Listen, if Debbie Wasserman Schultz, someone who the very fact that she's not in prison proves what a banana republic we live in, the fact that Debbie Wasserman Schultz was at the Women's March kind of delegitimizes the Women's March. If we're only against Trump, that is the most childish nonsense I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. There was one senator who didn't vote for the Mad Dog Mathis, the war criminal general that Donald Trump appointed, and the entire Senate, including Bernie Sanders, including Elizabeth Warren, the fake progressives gods, if you're the Young Turk gods of Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, give me a break. These people are frauds, but they voted for this war criminal. So that tells us that the entire establishment system government, the entire corporate fascist state, including Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, John McCain, Paul Ryan, Leslie Graham, all of them, they all of them are the problem. And what the corporate fascist media is doing, especially the quote unquote progressive, they're fake progressives, what the fake progressive news organizations like MSNBC, CNN, the New York Times, the Washington Post, NPR, all of it, they're just trying to organize controlled opposition against Trump so that the real movements with the real ideas for changing the corporate fascist state don't get heard. They pander to the things that are politically safe for them. I'm not saying they're not important. I'm saying that things like women's reproductive rights are very safe for people like Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton. It's very safe for them, for Hillary Clinton to send out tweets from the woods or in the fucking bookstore, wherever the fuck. Where's Hillary in the world? In a fucking rich ass upstate New York, she's tweeting out about how she supports women's rights. No, you don't, Hillary Clinton. You supported the destabilization of the Middle East, where I think there's a lot of women who live in the Middle East, post 9/11, and all throughout history where, or recent history where the U.S. is trying to destabilize democracies in the Middle East for corporate fascist theocratic states resembling the United States corporate fascist America, and we're destabilizing these areas, and women are being killed, and women are having their rights taken away from them, and women are being executed, and women are they're treated like slaves, and Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation is taking 20% funds from governments that have women executed, that have gay people executed. This is bullshit. Anyone who ever says that people like Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama or Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren are actual feminists or support the LGBT movements, they don't. No, they don't. They support the destabilization of fucking giant areas in the world, millions, hundreds of millions displaced, millions are dead, and that's what they support. They don't support feminism. I'm fucking sick and tired of zombie Hillary Clinton supporters and zombie Democratic Party supporters telling me that I did something wrong with my vote for Jill Stein and Jamu Baraka and the Green Party, and they're saying that I gave them Trump. No, I didn't give you shit. You supported Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, two of the biggest warmongers in the United States history. I tried to tell them for since 2012 that I'm not going to vote for more warmongers. I'm not going to vote for more death and destruction in the world. They didn't want to listen. And so when I've been saying it for years, and suddenly when I'm, supporting Jill Stein and vote for Jill Stein, and Donald Trump, of course, becomes the president because Hillary Clinton was the worst candidate for president ever, it's ridiculous. Hillary Clinton was the worst candidate. I don't do the people who support Hillary Clinton actually think that any real progressive thought that she was a progressive? She wouldn't even stand up for student debt. If she had just stood up for one thing that the progressive movement was calling for, she would have won. She would have totally been able to cheat the election system to make it look like she won. Let's be honest. I'll get into this in another video, but Donald Trump definitely won the popular vote. Are you kidding me? How do you think they would actually have ever given him the presidency, the people who control the elections, if he had not won conclusively with no ability to tamper their way to upset Clinton victory? Give me a break. But we'll talk about the election system in another video. We're talking about how Hillary Clinton we're talking about the Muslim ban, but we're talking about how the Democrats nominated an Islamophobe and are pissed off that we now have Trump, who the corporate fascist MSNBC was calling an Islamophobe. You're not going to trick people. People understand that Trump is an Islamophobe, but they also understand that Hillary Clinton is an Islamophobe. People aren't stupid. How can you say Donald Trump is an Islamophobe and then a New York senator who voted for the Iraq War, who voted for the Patriot Act, who voted for the expansion of the surveillance state, who was the architect of the Libyan War, whose decision? I understand Iraq was not Hillary Clinton's her decision. I'm not absolving her of it, but Libya was her fucking decision. She was the Secretary of State. Are you kidding me? She was the architect for the entire Libyan conflict for no reason, just because she has a power trip and she wants to be Henry Kissinger with the vagina. I'm fucking sick of it. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama are the biggest warmonger Islamic genocidists in the history of the United States, and you're calling people who voted for Donald Trump because they're poor and have nothing in their lives, no health care, no job. The only thing they see is the ability to make their voice heard through electing Donald Trump, and you're gonna tell this person to go fuck themselves, the least powerful, someone without an education, someone without coming from rich mommies and daddies, and this is the person you're gonna attack? And not Elizabeth Warren, and not Bernie Sanders, and not Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, and all of these people, and the Republicans? That's ridiculous. But yeah, we have people. We have the left finally waking up. The left, but the people. I won't get into the left and the right shit, but supporters of the Democratic Party, supporters of Barack Obama, finally waking up. I have always supported the people of Islam. I have always been anti-war and anti-Islamophobia. That includes the 8 years it was happening under Barack Obama. I was fighting against it, and now all of these Hillary Clinton supporters and all of these Barack Obama supporters are coming out of the woodwork to now berate me. They were gone for 8 years, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs, and the people I'm politically involved with, Sane Progressive, Jimmy Dore, all these people, they were shouting about what Barack Obama was doing in the Middle East, and no Barack Obama supporter wanted to fucking hear it. When it was Barack Obama, it was Muslims are evil terrorists. That's not true. 9/11 was an inside job. Terrorism is a manufactured hoax. But they were saying that Barack Obama's keeping the world safe from evil Islamic people or whatever. And I'm still hearing this from quote unquote progressives now who claim to be supporting people who are getting, banned by Trump. They're still like, well, we still need to keep bombing those places. And some of these are progressives who are still they're going wah about the ban, but still supporting bombing. And bombing in 8 countries. Pakistan counts. It's 8. We're killing people all over Pakistan for years. Been in Pakistan for a long time, but so it's just hypocrisy. But it's just so blatant when a hardcore Hillary Clinton supporter last night starts getting in my face about how this is my fault. You were gone from the anti-Islamophobe movement for 8 years. What are you talking about? It was your fault. It was Barack Obama's fault that we have Trump. Are you fucking kidding me? Barack Obama is the reason, because a lot to do with rigging the election against Bernie Sanders, and a lot to do with Barack Obama being a giant fucking warmonger. And it's ridiculous. I'm not going to take shit from these Barack Obama lovers, these Democratic establishment lovers, these MSNBC watchers any fucking more. I'm fucking done with it. I'm not going to be disrespected by people who supported Barack Obama when he murdered millions of innocent people and funded ISIS and was killing people in 8 countries and mass surveillance. Give me a break. These hypocrites. These fucking hypocrites. So we really need to destroy the corporate media state, because this specific person that I was talking to who got in my face, this is an MSNBC lover, a John Oliver, HBO, Time Warner splooger. My personal opinion of John Oliver and like Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert, I hate them. I hate these people. These people are traitors. And Rachel Maddow, MSNBC people, CNN, NPR. These people are seditious traitors who rigged an election for a candidate no one wanted against the person who should be the president right now, Bernie Sanders. It's absolutely ridiculous that these people in the media and Hillary Clinton and Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Donna Brazile are not now in prison, and Barack Obama, for what they did. Ugh. And now we have an Islamophobe in the White House because of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and Rachel Maddow and John Oliver and all their bullshit. So I won't be the person to say that, in this people's movement, I know exactly what we need to do, but I think one of the things we need to do immediately is a boycott of corporate fascist media. That would be your HBOs, your MSNBCs, your CNNs, your Comedy Centrals, your NPRs, your New York Times. We need to boycott these, and we need to create our own. Our people's movement needs a expansive, giant mass media. We need a mass media of the scale of CNN. And that's not undoable, guys. That's not completely uh off the, that's not we have the internet, we have YouTube. It's easy to do it. And we're already getting, more viewers on certain whatever progressive channels than MSNBC gets. But I digress. We need to get back to the Muslim ban. We need a mass media that can report the truth about Muslim people, about Islamophobia, about Barack Obama's wars, about George Bush's wars, and now Donald Trump's wars. We need a mass media that can combat CNN. And that should be one of the primary goals of our people's movement. But back on, spreading the correct information about what, U.S. foreign policy as it pertains to murdering innocent children with bombs for profit. Let's be clear. Like, all of these wars and Barack Obama's explosion of these wars from 2 to 8 has everything to do with profit and nothing to do with radical Islam. Radical Islam barely exists. Obviously, and that's not to say that it doesn't exist, because radical Christianity clearly exists. We look at, Dylan Roof, crazy people, but nonetheless, Dylan Roof was a, white supremacist, radical Christian. We of course don't want to demonize Christian people, but we also, when Dylan Roof shoots up a church, we don't carpet bomb Texas. We don't carpet bomb white Christian Texas when a Christian murders innocent African American people for practicing in a church. When a white Christian does it, when the Columbine white people do it, we don't bomb Colorado. Okay? And so when an angry, crazy person who might believe in radical Islam kills some people, we don't bomb Iraq. We don't level Aleppo. You understand? And it's the very fact that what I just said would be taken as a kind of extremism, radicalism by the Rachel Maddows and the and the MSNBCs and the Charlie Roses and the CNNs. They call me an extremist for not wanting perpetual war for profit. MSNBC and CNN are some of the biggest extremists in the entire fucking world. They are so extremely loyally devout to their corporate fascist rulers. And I'm not even talking about Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama. They're puppets. I'm talking about the real people who rule us, who determine everything that MSNBC, corporate-controlled MSNBC and CNN say. These are the extremists. The corporate fascist state and their media lapdogs are the extremists. We and our people's movement against war and against banning innocent Muslim people who should be allowed to live anywhere. We shouldn't. The fact that we're even talking about nation states in 2017 is just so ridiculously disheartening. And this coming from a Marxist that that this is what we're doing at this point in our lives is ridiculous. Banning innocent people from another part of the world who never did anything to you based on lies the corporate fascist media perpetuates about terrorism. There's really no such thing as terrorism. It's all bullshit. But yeah, the media does nothing but perpetuate lies about Islam and people from the Middle East. That forever, there's never been a time where the American corporate fascist media wasn't shitting on, non-Christians and non-whites. This isn't an Islam thing. This is a white supremacist thing in our media. But just constant misinformation and constant divisiveness. If you look at what MSNBC and CNN are actually doing, they're not helping anyone or anything with what they're doing. They're doing is playing a a Super Bowl game with the Fox Newses and the Breitbarts and the InfoWars and the Drudge Report. That's all they're doing. This is a called controlled opposition, where one side takes one side of outrage, the other side takes another side of outrage, and divides people up against each other. There's no viable, relevant information coming out from any of the corporate media that has anything to say about what is actually going on, and it's that the United States is waging perpetual warfare for profit and using the media to lie about it. It's just ridiculous how the false information about from MSNBC and CNN on this Muslim ban. MSNBC would have you think Barack Obama was the Jesus of Muslims, the Jesus to the Muslim people in the world. He's a warmonger. He's bombed them. He banned them. He spied on them. He kicked them out. He deported them. He deported 2.5 million people, more than every president combined. And MSNBC would think that he's a hero. And this is the point of the video. It's that Trump is the enemy, but the establishment government is the biggest enemy of them all. If Barack Obama was not your enemy and Donald Trump is, then you're a fucking hypocrite idiot and you don't know anything. And the same thing for Donald Trump supporters. If you're supporting Donald Trump and hated Barack Obama, you're an idiot. We as a people need to establish a people's movement that can come up, democratically, and through republicanism as well. We want the experts to have their say. Actual republicanism is having, experts in the fields of research and science also have their say as an important part, but also a democracy as well. And we need to come together as a people's movement to come up with activism, how to make political activism, and political activism as in deposing these people through revolution. I am a revolutionary Marxist is an important thing. I'm sorry, but personal politics is definitely gonna make its way into here at some point. But I am a revolutionary Marxist. I believe that a revolution is an insurrection. In basically every example of a revolution, a violent insurrection, a violent insurrection where one class topples another class, where I, Sandy Frank, topple Donald Trump and Barack Obama. That is what I'm interested in. Using political activism not to play some divisive game like, the people who organized some of these protests are trying to do. I'm looking for actual action by way of deposing the establishment Republicans and the establishment Democrats and Donald Trump and all of the corruption from our government, so we can actually have a democracy. And I said it in the last video, I'll say it in this video. It's a fact that we don't have a democratic republic. We don't live in the type of government that the United States Constitution and the founders claim to have set up for us. I mean, these are the founders of the people who created the electoral system, so, they're obviously were never interested in a democratic republic themselves. They were power holders and landowners. That's what they were interested in. But again, this isn't a video about the founders, but the Princeton study shows, and so many other studies like the Princeton study show, that we do not have a democracy, we do not have a republic, we have an oligarchy, we have a kleptocracy, we have a corporate fascist state. That's what it is. That's what's happening. Um, so that needs to be our first step in protesting. Yes. Also on that list needs to be the ending of the Islamophobic wars and Islamophobic policies, and opening up in my opinion, opening up our borders, trade. That sounds like I'm getting into trade. I would have to do an entire other video on trade, but and this is, again, remember, this is coming from a Marxist, so my views on trade might be a little different than if you're um, a Joe Rogan watcher. Some sort of fiscal conservative, whatever, but that's what we need a people's movement for, so we can actually debate what are the best policies for our economy, what are the best policies for our political system, and that needs to be about the people's will and the facts and the evidence around it, not corporate fascist suicide, which is basically what is happening. We're killing ourselves. Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, all of these corporate fascists are hurting themselves, and they're victims. They're victims of the corporate fascist state. And that includes the billionaires. That includes the Koch brothers or whatever. Yes, the Koch brothers and the Walton family. They are victims as well. They are victims of this corporate fascist runaway train that is running out of control and is about to run off the tracks and destroy itself. All of us are victims of this. But, I mean, yeah, this is a video about the corporate fascist state and how it pertains to the Muslim ban, so I guess this is what this video would be about. Yes, the same system that got us this Muslim ban, which Barack Obama paved the way for, is the same system that is running us off a cliff environmentally, in terms of war, poverty, homelessness, displacement, violence, all of it. We're being run off the tracks by the corporate fascist state. But yeah, back to the Muslim ban, because I just feel like I have to keep repeating myself to Barack Obama people, or Hillary Clinton people, or Democratic Party people, or the Young Turks people, or the MSNBC people, or the CNN people, who do not understand that they are being used as controlled opposition. They are being herded like sheepdogs. They're being gaslit, and they're having dog whistles, and all the fucking whatevers are going off all around them. All the jingling keys, the scary Donald Trump, scary tweet show that is every MSNBC program. We really need to talk about how shitty the corporate media is. I've been doing that for the last half hour. But MSNBC will, and Rachel Maddow, for years now, will, and especially the Donald Trump shit, they'll just talk about Donald Trump for the entire fucking program. They won't talk about anyone else, especially inside the establishment government. And if you're buying this, what is wrong with you? I'm not saying don't. I watch a lot of these terrible programs. I mean, I watch because I have an MFA in media studies. So, I'm trained with the skeptical eye in news media to be able to recognize, what is factual and what is corporate fascist propaganda, which is 99% of what MSNBC does. So, I can watch MSNBC, but if you're a person who's easily tricked, like most of Rachel Maddow's audience, you need to turn it off because it's bad for you. Go to Chris Hedges, go to Glenn Greenwald, go to Amy Goodman, go anywhere but corporate funded media, for the love of God. But yeah, the MSNBC is not the revolution. MSNBC is not the resistance. And we need to make people understand this. The same way that Fox News is not the same way we need to make our Donald Trump supporting friends and brothers and sisters understand that Donald Trump doesn't have your interests in mind. And I was going to say that I listen to a lot of conservative media. Again, I'm a Hegelian Marxist. I'm a big quote unquote left wing guy. Campaigned for Bernie Sanders, voted for Jill Stein, all this, all this. But I do listen to a lot of Sean Hannity, his radio show, Rush Limbaugh, his radio show. A lot of, I will say I listen to a lot of Alex Jones. It's not to say that I agree with, even though Alex Jones has really become just another Sean Hannity and a Rush Limbaugh. It's really funny to have seen this because I've been watching Alex Jones for a long time. Not saying that I agree with him, but I do like to get a lot of differing opinions, a lot of differing perspectives. Again, not saying I agree with him, but to just watch over, because I've been watching, crazy internet stuff like that. I just love anything crazy and just insane, like Alex Jones or his supporters. I don't support it, but it's fun to watch. But watching Alex Jones over the past like 8 years since I first got into things like globalism and 9/11 truth, and I don't want to. This is not a video about crazy stuff like that, but just to watch Alex Jones go from someone who was so against the establishment Bush era Republican surveillance state, Islamophobic wars. If we're this is about the Muslim ban. Alex Jones was against bombing innocent Muslim countries for oil. He was a 9/11 truther who believed Muslims had very little to do with it. Well, nothing to do with it, really. It was just governments, the Saudis and the United States. Well, obviously more of the United States, but some people from Saudi Arabia were involved. But yeah, to see these Alex Jones people now, you can't tell Alex Jones from Sean Hannity. So anybody, whoever says that like the Alex Jones people or the Stephen Molyneux people are steadfast in their political convictions, give me a fucking break. Alex Jones, in the last 8 years, from the beginning of Obama to the beginning of Trump, Alex Jones has done a complete about face in his political convictions. It's ridiculous. The people like this, they follow power. But that's not to say that there aren't good, conservative, libertarian, anarchist people who are speaking truth to power. There are. But just the Alex Jones himself is a giant hypocrite, and he's a disgrace. I mean, he was always a disgrace, but now he has completely disgraced himself. But yeah, the Muslim ban, and now, Alex Jones is Donald Trump, and people like Donald Trump are saying about Muslim people, we need to keep bombing them, we need to wipe out their families, terrorism, the United States wasn't behind 9/11. I would be really interested to know to talk to Donald Trump about 9/11. And I feel, because people say, I guess some of his like diehard supporters who are also for 9/11 truth, I guess they say, I mean, some of them say that Donald Trump is a 9/11 truther, but I don't know. I don't know. Would Donald Trump ever release anything to the public about what he, inquired about in the deep state? No, I don't think so. I think we're about to find out that Donald Trump is as establishment as they come and as Islamophobic as they come, obviously. But, just as Islamophobic as Barack Obama, which is the point of this video. There's a lot of other subjects I want to get to, a lot of other things that need to be said, but I just need to hammer it home to who's ever listening, because this is a very uneducated country, and I want to do a video on explaining how uneducated the United States of America really is, and how little we actually know about a lot of things. But yeah, because we've been so dumbed down by corporate fascist media like Fox News and Comedy Central and the Washington Post and NPR, we've come to accept so little that we don't know anything about what the United States is doing in these Muslim countries, especially the quote unquote left, while Barack Obama was doing it. But yeah, so it doesn't seem like Donald Trump is the person that certain Donald Trump supporters like Alex Jones tried to market Donald Trump as to a more broader audience. I think I was watching Alex Jones a lot during the election because, again, I that's just what I do. I like differing opinions. It's just what I like to do. I also watch Rachel Maddow, and that makes me want to kill myself just as much. But Alex Jones and some of these Trump supporters, to their broader audience, was trying to tell people things like Donald Trump is going to take down the deep state, and Donald Trump is going to bring out the truth about 9/11 and lies about Islam, Middle Eastern countries having anything to do with 9/11. Excuse me. But and they these people promise many other things that Donald Trump could do, and January 30th, 2017, it doesn't look like Donald Trump will be doing any of these things. Again, I'm getting the same argument I got from Barack Obama supporters when he was president-elect, when he let Citigroup take full reign over his cabinet. It's the same fucking thing happening now, which is that Donald Trump supporters and Barack Obama supporters were saying that Donald Trump and or Barack Obama was playing a chess game. That Barack Obama and Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders too. People use that argument with Bernie when he dropped out like an idiot. Too, Barack Obama's playing a chess game with these people, and we don't understand it. We can't be a part of it. Donald Trump is playing an obsequious game with the globalist corporate fascists. He's being sly and cunning, and he has a plan to expose the corruption in our establishment system. Barack Obama is gonna he's like a Littlefinger, Peter Baelish mastermind who's gonna release all the information. No, they're not gonna do that. Barack Obama and Donald Trump are corporate fascist puppets, and Bernie Sanders, who have no intention of fighting the corporate fascist establishment. They only want to preserve it. And I can't wait to hear what Bernie Sanders people say to me saying that about Bernie Sanders. Like, Bernie Sanders is preserving the establishment state. He is he's denying the election fraud. He's He is saying that Russia hacked the election, that Russia had anything to do with why Hillary Clinton, no one wanted to vote for Hillary Clinton. They couldn't even make Hillary Clinton win when they controlled the entire election system. She was that bad of a candidate. All right. Bernie Sanders is guilty of a lot of things, and we need to stop pretending that Bernie Sanders is not part of the corporate fascist establishment. Listen, it breaks my heart to say it. I campaigned for Bernie Sanders. I campaigned, phone banked and canvassed in Brooklyn, and I protested, and it was really a magical time to my Bernie Sanders supporters here. Don't get me wrong, the Bernie Sanders movement of 2015, 2016 was a glorious time, and we need more of it. That's why I'm so for protest. We need that. Well, protest is, I support Bernie Sanders. I knew about protests before Bernie Sanders is what I'm saying. But I'm saying we need to organize the way we were organizing with Bernie Sanders. Think about it. The Bernie Sanders movement was so many different factions of quote unquote progressives, quote unquote independents, quote unquote socialists. Bernie Sanders brought so many different progressive and independent voices together, and even libertarian. A huge amount of libertarian and conservative and Republicans wanted Bernie Sanders. They were part of the movement just as much, but we need to realize what Bernie Sanders accomplished without any corporate media time. There was a complete media blackout for months of the entire Bernie Sanders campaign, and we were able to move past it and come together using social media. So that's what we need to be doing to protest this Muslim ban. We need to be organizing a people's movement that was a lot like the Bernie Sanders movement. We need to be organizing, coming together, rallying, filling auditoriums and arenas with people talking about the issues. We need to put all of those rallies on the internet, live stream. We need to all be coming together to talk about our ideas, and then we need to act. This is the real way to protest the Muslim ban. Not going along with MSNBC and HBO and Time Warner and John Oliver and Jon Stewart and fucking NPR and all this bullshit, and even Michael Moore. I'm so upset at what Michael Moore has done over these last few months. I had never had a major problem with Michael Moore until I don't want to say that, but he was with the Bernie Sanders campaign. He was a Bernie Sanders surrogate for a time, a lot later than a lot of very famous people, a lot later than your Will Ferrells and your John C. Reillys and your whoever's. But Michael Moore is going along with the corporate controlled opposition, and he needs to stop doing it. I don't want to hate Michael Moore, but if he doesn't stop doing what he's doing, I need to oppose him. We need to oppose the corporate fascist state. We need to form a people's movement. We need to stop demonizing Donald Trump voters or Donald Trump supporters. And again, I talked to a lot of Trump supporters. I talked to a Donald Trump supporter the other day who, was just perpetuating a lot of false information, and I didn't yell at the guy. I was just telling him, I was just speaking truth to him. He had a lot of false information about Muslims and terrorism and all of the fascist bullshit perpetuated by the corporate fascist media, lies about Muslim people, lies about Middle Eastern people, saying that they're animals, saying that they're dogs. They're not. We literally wouldn't have a civilization if it wasn't for the people of the Middle East. They are the most civilized people in the history of the world. If you look at what has been done to their countries by the corporate fascist West over the past few years, a few decades, and all throughout history. Even though the Middle East has been the rulers of the world multiple times throughout history, I'm not saying I'm not a white supremacist. I'm saying that because the West has had the power hold for the last 100 years, we've been able to impose fascism on the Middle East, uh, you know, just and destroy their democracies. And we need to stop listening to the corporate media about the lies they tell us about the Middle East. They're good people, just like all of us are good people. You know who's not a good person? Rachel Maddow, John Oliver, Jon Stewart, uh, NPR. They're not good people. Fox News, Breitbart, whichever side of the establishment you're on, CNN, these are not good people. CNN is fake news. I'm going to quote someone I hate, Donald Trump. CNN is fake news. I'm going to do another video on what Bannon said about the media shutting their mouths. I saw the young guy, Anomaly. He did a good video about, I hate Steve Bannon, but maybe he's a little bit right when he's talking about MSNBC and CNN. But I'll do another video on that. But to conclude this video on the Muslim ban, Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton equal Donald Trump, okay? So Donald Trump equals Barack Obama equals George Bush equals Bill Clinton equals George Bush the first equals Ronald Reagan equals Paul Ryan equals Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, okay? The establishment is an Islamophobic. It is set up to have controlled opposition based on Islamophobia. MSNBC is set up to exploit and Islamophobe bait and not address any of the real problems facing the people of the Middle East. MSNBC, Rachel Maddow is only interested in corporate power and how she can get rich off of sensationalizing the media and off of her own Islamophobia. Okay, so the MSNBC people are doing nothing to help the people of Islam, and the only thing that can help, that can be an actual legitimate protest to what Trump is doing and what Barack Obama did, is a independent people's movement where we can come together and form our own ideas for solution-based protest and solution-based politics. Not MSNBC. See, MSNBC is going to do nothing but tell you lies and make you misinformed about Islam. Rachel Maddow is making video after doing segment after segment about militarization with NATO. She's one of the biggest advocates for Barack Obama's war policies in the world. This person is no progressive, but the point of the Muslim ban is to understand that we need to oppose the establishment Democrats and establishment Republicans with a people's movement against the corporate fascist state. All right, that is the main thing that we need to take away from this if we are going to create any type of progress by way of ending the wars and ending the bans and ending the drone bombings and ending all of the corporate financed bloodshed and hatred in the world. We need to take our democracy back. We need to take our republic back. And that is the only way we will stop Trump and Obama and their constant Islamophobic Muslim banning, Muslim bombing, Muslim killing. So thank you very much for listening to this video. Please comment about what you would be interested in me doing a video about next. Please like and share this video if you liked it and want to share it. Please subscribe. This is a new channel. It's It's pretty hard getting started. But mainly, but yeah, beyond any of that, get involved. Start making videos. Start talking to people. Start organizing a people's movement. Start organizing to take our democracy back and our republic back. I'm Sandy Frank. Thank you very much.